hopeful passengers at Glasgow Central Station. Thank you very much. Now, let's talk to Dr. Gail Millin-Chalabi, who is a Research Associate in Earth Observation at the University of Manchester. Dr. Millin-Chalabi, thank you very much for talking to us this afternoon. You're actually in the middle of a research project about a UK fire rating system, which sounds as though it may be something that's quite timely to be looking at. Can you tell us more about what that's trying to establish and how such a system might work?
Yes, sure. So what we are trying to establish is, first of all, a UK-wide fuel map, so we understand exactly where the fuel loads are, so we can understand then potential fire risk. As well as that, we're looking at a number of case studies across the country, running what we call a wildfire threat analysis, so looking at possibilities of risk of ignition in terms of proximity to buildings, to roads, to pathways and to other infrastructure. Running as well hazard modelling, so fire spread modelling, and also values at risk. So this means assessing the risks to health and well-being, looking at the risk to the ecosystem services such as recreation and biodiversity, and of course, as we saw yesterday, property and infrastructure at risk as well.
Just on that question of assessment of risks, it's something that people might assume the different fire services around the country already know about. For example, yesterday in Wellington, we heard that farmers were being enlisted by the fire service to help move some of the chemicals on their farms to ensure that they didn't become a risk of an explosion following on from the grass fire. Are you saying that information isn't necessarily widely available at the moment?
What it is that I think that at the moment we don't have that national picture of just the areas that are regularly at risk of wildfire events. We can see that there has been areas that do repeatedly get burnt, but we also need to understand much better our fire occurrence across the country. Yeah. For example, I'm an Earth observation scientist. We use the European Forest Fire Information System, which is led by the European Commission and the Copernicus programme. And what I can see when I look at the number of fires currently recorded by that system for this year is 148 fires. However, I have been told by Paul Headley, who leads wildfires for the National Fire Chiefs Council, that indeed there's been 430 wildfires approximately that have took place this year in this country. Great. And so we are, even, with those European level services at the moment, we're massively underestimating the actual number of wildfires that are taking place. And
I suppose yesterday illustrates that actually they can happen anywhere in areas where they haven't happened in recorded memory, precisely because of these high temperatures. I mean, in terms then of the practical application of this, what sort of timescale do you think we're looking at to get something like this up and running?
Well, at the moment, what our project's trying to do is understand the actual scientific underpinning of a UK fire danger rating system. So we're not promising that in itself, but obviously over these next few years, we will be researching into things like determining the fuels, the moisture around the country and how that varies, the flammability of UK-specific vegetation types. And all of this will help us to build a UK fire danger rating system that is tailored for this country. And that will hopefully then put us in a better position for future fire events. I just also wanted to add that I think one of the other key actions that needs to be taken is to support further community groups such as the Firewise initiative that's set up at Dorset. This is a brilliant initiative which provides local information, so information around how local communities can protect their properties and their community areas when we have prolonged dry spells like we've seen over this past few days, and how to then build resilience into their local areas so that we prevent fire spread like what we saw yesterday at Wellington.
Dr. Gail Millin-Chalabi, a good point, and you used absolutely the word resilience, which we're going to hear a lot more of, I'm sure, in the coming weeks and months. Thanks very much.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Now, the Secretary